Welcome to the Purposeful MD podcast. As a physician, you've sacrificed so much of your life for other people, your patients, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. What would it feel like to spend time doing what you enjoy and to live without guilt? I'm your host, Dr. Laura Sutton, a family physician, certified coach, and business owner. If you're a medical professional on a journey towards your most purposeful life, a life with more time and energy, and ultimately more joy, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to the Purposeful MD podcast. I'm so excited to have my good friend on the show, Dr. Michelle Gonzaba, who's a family physician here in San Antonio, Texas. And we've gotten to know each other over the past couple years and just really enjoyed learning from Michelle and being inspired by your journey and how you prioritize your family and your own personal health and how you bring that into your practice. And so really happy to have you.
Oh, it's good to be here, Laura. Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. I grew up just outside San Antonio area in Atascosa, Texas. Did all my schooling and training around here in San Antonio, I guess all my schooling in San Antonio, but then I did my residency in Louisiana. And I've been back home now in San Antonio for about 5 years or so with my current practice. And it's a family medicine. I see age 11 all the way till the end. And passions that I have is definitely related to lifestyle modification. And that sounds really simple, but if you're a family physician, you have to be very passionate about preventative medicine. And of course, can treat all the normal stuff like diabetes, high cholesterol, muscle pain, everything else. But we have to go to the beginning for prevention and to help improve those current problems that we may have. And that starts with your lifestyle, like your diet and exercise. And it's not just telling someone, hey, go exercise. Hey, changes in your diet. Just being more specific about it. And one thing because that's so important to me to teach my patients that I need to do it myself. And so that is a big part of my life is being active and being as healthy as possible.
Yeah, I love that. And you have inspired me many times when I've gotten stuck in my own athletic journey. Just talking with you and hearing from you, it's like, okay, yes, I can do, I can do this. And, when you came on and before we hit record, we were talking about this beautiful home gym that you've built for you and your husband and who's also very active. And so, yeah, so tell us a little bit about it. I mean, I know we were talking about it before we hit record, but share with us just so our listeners and viewers can be a part of that with you.
Sure. So having a home gym, like a really nice one, has been a dream of ours for a very long time. And I have to say, so getting to that, I really do like going to a gym, but I found out that I really did not like other people working out around me. I hated having to wait for weights, and I get annoyed if other people are just there. Maybe that sounds terrible, but just wanted to have our own space and wanted to be really good quality. So having a nice gym floor, maybe one that you would see at a gym, and also having really nice equipment, it just makes it easy. I feel like you have it here. There's no excuses. I'm all about no excuses. And when it comes to things related to our lifestyle, sorry, I'm going to go on a rant about excuses, but really just having this here, it's easy. I don't have to like dress up or bring some extra clothes, or it's all here at my house. And so that's something that's really worked out in my schedule because things are really busy with the current practice and my family life. And I can have very short windows to work out. Sometimes it may be less than 20 minutes where I need to do a speed circuit workout. I could do it here in my gym quickly and efficiently. I don't have to take into account driving to a gym, or there's a gym close to my work. I used to run to the gym and then run back, but then I still have to take that into account with the time. And it helps me be very efficient, and I love it. It's been great.
I love that. I mean, we hear that. I'm sure you hear from your patients and we hear it from colleagues like, I don't have time to work out. And what you just said is like, I might only have 20 minutes. I'm going to get it done. And so you've created that environment for yourself. So I love that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just really important. And especially with family practice, we tell people or being a physician, you tell people what to do all day, right? And give guidance there. You just have to do it yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to try. And when you talk to patients about it, and I feel like they can kind of tell, like, oh wow, like you do this too. You're able to make it work. I don't have to tell them that that I'm busy. They know I'm busy. They know that I work full time and I have my family. So I feel like it's just being a good example could be very helpful for your patients. And in general, it just helps me be happier because I'm exercising more and getting those needs in, even if it's just a little bit. Because circuit workouts, just quick. Um, Pull, push, leg, plus or minus abs workout, like you can be very efficient in 20 minutes or less. And it's nice having the home gym with some nice equipment to be able to do that.
Yeah. And what you're another thing that you were saying to me before we hit record, because I'm talking
Mhm.
about possibly putting something similar into our house, is make it an environment that you want to be in. And you're saying that you and your husband were really intentional about making things match, and
Mhm.
so it just sounds like it's a place that that you want to be in, that you get inspired. And I am very much, and I know we've talked about this too, very much about my surroundings and how my surroundings can
Mhm.
influence my attitude and motivation and that type of thing. So it sounds like you guys have been really intentional about
Mhm.
that for yourselves and your
Yeah, we
family.
try. The squat rack is
Yeah.
purple. It's pretty.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Inspires you to go to it and
Yeah.
squat.
And I see on your Instagram post too, you bring your kids into your workouts, and you'll have a picture of one of your kids in there with you while you're working out, and so that
Try
you're
not to do that too often, but that has happened before, or we have a dog or two in here,
yeah,
they're just kind of part of it,
yeah.
but you just have to get it done sometimes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And you being full-time mom, or full-time
Mhm.
physician, and then also with two small kids, like you said, no excuses, and you're super busy, and you've also, you have time for friends, and you guys are doing social events and that type of thing too. So you have this very full and active life, and you're still finding time to exercise because it's important to you. And so absolutely no excuses.
Mhm. Yeah, but even too, and we touched a little bit about this before we got this started, was just your triathlon training. So that's something that requires a lot of time, or even if you don't have much time, you have to be very efficient. Especially you have a goal, you have whatever race coming up, and so why don't you tell us a little bit about how you're able to do that, especially with your job and your family? How do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. I am a triathlete for sprint triathlons. So I've done a few sprint triathlons, which are shorter course.
Hmm.
If people aren't familiar, it's usually a 400, 800-meter swim. Bike is usually around 10 to 15 miles, and then a run might be 2 to 3 or 4 miles. So shorter course. Certainly not Ironman level. Still very challenging if you're not used to it. And I'm a runner,
It's
and
very
I've
fast. It's a very like fast
very
race.
fast. You have to
Yeah.
be uncomfortable the whole time. It's not like a longer course race. Again, I've not done longer course triathlon. I've done long distance running, and so in a half marathon there can be times when you're not uncomfortable, because if you were going fast the whole time you'd flame out.
Yeah.
And I've done lots of half marathons. So in the hot months like we're in right now in Texas, triathlon suits me a little bit better, because running as much as I would have to be running outside in this heat is just not in the cards
Mhm.
for me right now. So the pool fits me better. And it's a challenge. It's something new. Swimming, I'm getting better at it, but swimming is still physically demanding for me as a runner. It's utilizing new muscles, new skills, learning how to breathe. I mean, all these things that go into it, that are just different than just go out and run. Swimming is all about form. Running is
Mhm.
not as much about form. You can have really poor form and still make it through a race. And
Mhm.
swimming, it's very much about form, and so learning kind of how to, put my arms in a certain way, and that's been just it's been a lot of fun, lots of
Mhm.
learning.
Yeah, and just definitely just requires just so much time management, right? Like your swim days, like days that they're gonna have to go to the pool, like bring all your clothes, right? Days, at
Hmm.
least with running, you can kind of like get out and go,
Yeah.
like in your neighborhood. If you have a neighborhood you're able to run, it has
Hmm.
some good hills in it, which I believe yours does. And so it can be difficult to make time for your training, time for your exercise, but you just
Mhm.
have to do it sometimes, right? You just
Yeah,
have
you
to like
do.
what where you're spending extra time. Like, do you really need to? Seriously, do you really need to watch that show? Like, some of you have to give up shows that you may like. I'll be honest, I
Mhm.
don't really care for watching TV. I really just watch sports. So if there's not a game that I care about, I'm really not watching TV. So that's just
Mhm.
like time that you can get in 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you
Mhm.
know? So I just feel like there's always time somewhere. It doesn't mean every single day of the week, but you don't need to work out every day of the week. In fact, you should have a rest day at
Mhm.
least.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, getting anywhere between 4 to 6 workouts a week is awesome. I feel best at 5 to 6, but these days, just given life circumstances, four. Just been really happy with four.
Mhm.
So one way that is helpful, and this is something I share with my patients, is always start with your weekend or your days off. And hopefully people have 2 days off a week. Sometimes people only have one day, but those are your days. There's no excuse, man.
Mhm.
Like, just get it done. Just get
Mhm.
it done. So it's 2 days, and you can pick a random 1 or 2 days during your work week. And so that's something where my workout days are Wednesday and Friday, typically, unless I might have something going on, like today. So did like an evening workout a few days before, knowing that you and I were going to meet today, like for
Mhm.
that block. Um, and one way that I've been able to do that is with my schedule. On Wednesdays and Fridays, I start at 7, and my last patient is at 1 o'clock. So that means like I just like boom, like zoom through, have lots of patients, work through lunch. Like, it is a busy Wednesday and Friday, but when I'm done, I'm done. I
Yeah.
can do admin, usually do a little bit, but I can still get my workout in, maybe do some work afterward, cook dinner, bedtime, marathon. That happens every night.
Mhm.
And then there you go. And then wash dishes and everything and get ready for bed. But that's a strategy that's worked out really well for me. And I'm very thankful with the practice that I'm in. I'm allowed to set my hours that way. So that's something I would encourage other physicians, like, to look at their schedule, because you don't always have to have the traditional 8 to 5. You could do maybe 7:30 to 4:30, or you could work through lunch on a Friday. So you can leave early on Friday. Working through lunch is not the end of the world. I mean, maybe that's just me, but that's just, I could just go through lunch, like kind of eat as I go, and then just finish early. Like, to me, that's
Mhm.
more important, to finish early and get those workouts in. Go to doctor's appointments, whatever other errands that come up on the Wednesdays and Fridays. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And it's so much in what you said about, I mean, we were talking about the triathlon training, it's all about the intention of fitting it in, and like the logistics of swimming, that yeah, it's going to be a little bit trickier for me to get to the pool. I got to think about, when am I going to take a shower after, and do I have to be somewhere,
Mhm.
what do I take with me, all of that, and versus just running. So it requires a little more planning, but it's good, because then it gets me to look at my week and what I've started doing over the past, probably just this past year. Every Sunday, I look at the calendar ahead. I look at the workouts that my coach has scheduled for me, and when am I going to fit those in? And that gets into appointments and dinner times. What does dinner time look like? Because it looks different every week. Who's doing dinner? What are things might come up, roadblocks or whatever come up. And but I do that because it's important to me. And like you, I feel so much better when I'm active and when I'm exercising regularly. And so it's just that it's important to me that I'm going to put some time and energy into planning for it. And I think that's something that is a lesson for all of us, that if we have something that's important in our life, then we have to put the time and the energy into planning for it. It doesn't just happen. And
Just happen.
right.
Yeah,
And
we talk about motivation.
yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't it
you're being
doesn't
motivated to do things, or things just don't just happen. You just like have to do
yeah.
them sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, because we're adults, and we, there's a sense of freedom. Oh, I can do whatever I want. Um, at the same time, we have to be self-motivated and self-directed. And if that motivation is internal, where yeah, we feel so much better when we're exercising, then it becomes this kind of flywheel effect where we want to do it more, and we intentionally plan for it. And I love what you said about your schedule and how you've been able to adjust your schedule so that you can work through lunch on those days, and then use that time to work out or take care of errands that you need to get done, or just some of the things that are important to you, rather than kind of just like sucking it up and, oh, this is the schedule that they gave me, so I have to stick with this. And you took power, you took your power to create that schedule and you advocated for yourself for what you need. And I think that's so important in our physicians these
I
days.
agree. I mean, I have to say, when contract negotiations have come up, it really, at least on mine, it just specified how many hours you need to be there, or like clinical hours. And so it wasn't like, hey, you need to be these hours. And so for physicians that are looking at their contracts, if it doesn't have specific hours, like, why does your office need to be open like at those times? I mean, that is something that you would want to talk with your office manager. You need to make sure you have someone for check-in, that your assistants, your medical assistants, plus or minus nurses, if you have any, like, can make those times. But typically, like, if you set the hours, like that's what's going to happen,
Hmm.
And so it works out really well for our staff. We have a nurse practitioner, our group, and she starts at 7 every single day, so she's already there, and then I'm the one that does the whole lunch thing, because I'm telling you, it is a little crazy, it is busy, but like my staff and I, like, we love it, because when we're done, we're done. And even if my staff needs to sneak away, they need to do their personal errands, or they can just kind of sit down and like kind of get some work done, I guess, admin stuff done. It's just really nice for everybody. And that's just so very helpful over the last few years to take advantage of those 2 days. Because otherwise it's very hard to get a workout in the evening. I talk to
Hmm.
patients about this. I'm like, it's possible. It is very possible, but you're really tired at the end of the day. So if you're able to sneak in a morning workout or a lunch workout or somewhere, like, not at the end of the day, like that, you're going to be more successful with that. And I just think, especially when we're giving guidance to patients with their goals, whatever their fitness goals may look like. I know I said this earlier, but it's just so important to do our best to try and mirror that. Like, if you were to go to a personal trainer and you had like a lineup of people who you'd pick, you'd probably choose someone that appeared to be pretty fit, knew what they were talking about, right?
Hmm.
I think that's important as a physician as well. Like, you need
Hmm.
to maybe appear to be in overall good health, that you do
Hmm.
exercise and eat somewhat decent. I think that's
Hmm.
just very important.
Yeah.
And patients can tell when it's genuine or not genuine, like, oh,
Hmm.
whatever, like, you don't know what you're talking about. But
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be difficult to take advice from somebody who's not living it out in that way, even if somebody believes it. And I absolutely agree. Yeah.
Mhm.
And thinking about the schedule, the adjustment that you did too, I think patients probably appreciate it. I mean, you tell me, do
Mhm.
they like my dentist starts at 7 a.m. and so I can be that 7 a.m. appointment. I'm out by 7:30
Mhm.
on to work and I love it because it doesn't impact my work day. And so I
Mhm.
imagine your patients appreciate it,
Oh,
especially the ones
definitely.
that,
Yeah, I think going before
yeah,
work, I see a handful of kids. It's always interesting when they're there before
yeah,
8 o'clock.
yeah,
They
I
hate
bet.
it.
Sure.
They're there before school. But or, patients come during their lunch hour. They come in
Hmm.
that like 11 to 30 to 1 o'clock block. They just come
Hmm.
during lunch real quick. So it just, to me, it just works out for everybody. I wish that, like, my own physicians, like, worked at 7, but nobody else that I
Yeah,
see does that. So yeah, so
yeah,
I feel like it works out for everybody, and it's definitely worked out with my home life, and yeah, just my own personal fitness goals. It's worked out great.
yeah, yeah. What do you have next as far as fitness and what's on the radar for you?
So I'm not planning on doing any particular race. So there's no goals in that sense, but in general, just trying to get stronger. So I've just been progressing my weights, trying to, uh, when I do cardio, because I do 2 cardio days and 2 weight days, for cardio to be longer, not feel as bad. I feel like my general fitness goals is just to be stronger and get faster, but it's really in regards to myself. I'm not actively competing for anything or any races, at least not at this point in time.
Hmm.
Sometimes I joke that I'm like training for motherhood, you know, because there are days where I'm holding both of my kids, have to squat down and like feed the dogs and pick up a bag of dog food and like end up pushing something and walk up a few stairs into my house. You're not going to be able to do that if you can't, go to squat 40 pounds, or
Hmm.
whatever the weight is. Like, you need to be able to
Yeah,
at least squat that bar back there. Need to be able to hold a medicine ball and, just do simple
yeah,
things like that. So I feel like I train in general almost for my daily life.
yeah.
So, and I think it's, even too, I just think it's a good example just for my kids, for them to see me
Hmm.
staying active, me working out. The other day I just randomly did push-ups in the living room. I just did a few, and my little girl, she's only a year and a half old. She got down and started doing some push-ups too. So it was so
Aw.
cute. I was like, oh my God, I feel so proud, you know. I don't know.
Aw.
Yeah. So, so I feel like that's, you asked about goals. Sorry, it's not more specific, but that's just what it
Yeah.
is right now. Right now, I
Yeah.
don't have a particular weight loss goal. I've been on a few weight loss journeys over the years, particularly after my pregnancies, but I'm not really looking for a weight goal, more of a strengthening
Yeah.
goal in endurance.
Yeah.
It's considered endurance now. So
Yeah. I love that. That's perfect. I mean, you said training for motherhood and, picturing you picture the kids. It's true because I think about, I mean, when I was, most of my practice was older adults and trying to get them to exercise if they hadn't for a while, they're not in this like, oh, I want to go run a 5K. I just want to sit on the floor with my grandchildren and be able to get back up
mhm.
again. And so getting back to whatever's motivating for you, what's your goal? Do you want to be able to go on a hike with your grandkids, or do you want to be able to walk your daughter down the aisle at her wedding, or whatever that looks like? And that's what's going to keep you going.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the number one things that I hear is in general, people just wanting to keep up with their kids. Like their kids are getting
Hmm.
bigger, playing sports, like want to be able to play in the backyard.
Hmm.
Um, Also, too, people working with their weight loss and everything. But a lot of times, people they have certain goals with what they want to do with their family, or certain hiking goals, like big hikes that they have, and
Hmm.
so I get it. I feel like
Yeah.
that's me too.
Yeah.
Just being able to be strong. You never know if there is a moment where you need to be strong, where you ever need to run away or jump over something, or again have to lift something very heavy. So that's something that I personally find motivating.
Yeah, that's true. We never know when we're going to be in those situations. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I have a friend who's um planning on hiking the Grand Canyon I think in September, and that's something I've thought about doing.
Oh my gosh. Is it, what is it called?
So,
Is it called rim to rim or
rim to
something like,
rim.
is that what it's
Yeah.
called? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not so much the physical, like I feel like I could get ready to do it physically.
Hmm.
What's holding me back, and again, stay tuned, this might change, but it's the risks involved and the safety, like, because I had a friend who did it 10, 15 years ago, and she fell and broke her arm on the way
Mm,
down.
mm.
And then, I mean, there's nothing that they could be done. They kind of splinted it, and the next day
Just
when
move
they go
on.
back up, she was able to get medical attention. I mean, if she needed immediate, they would have, of course, taken care of her. That's their number one goal. Um, but it wasn't to the extent that it needed to be addressed right then and there. In fact, I don't
Hmm.
think she even knew it was broken. But just things like that are like, ooh, as a physician, that worries me. So, but yeah, that's something I've thought about and would absolutely need to be I would need to have my endurance build up for that. So we'll see.
That's really cool. What are you looking at this fall?
Oh no, this would be
Oh, sorry.
like
Or that's your friend that's training the
my
fall.
friend
Okay.
is training for it this fall. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had a patient
Yeah.
tell me recently that her and her husband are hoping to do it this summer. Number one, I'm like, oh my God, that's so hot. That's gonna be really hot. And they're really fit. They completed a half marathon together. They've done like long races together.
Hmm.
And I asked about any particular like training plan because that to me is like would be like a big race, right? And
Hmm.
the other thing is a nutrition plan. I'm like, hey, are you working with a like a sports
Hmm.
dietitian? Like, do you have a nutrition plan set up with your electrolytes? Because to me, physician wise, I'm thinking about the nutrition part of that
Right.
hike. And she's like, oh no, we're just gonna go. And I said, well, here's some information
Yeah.
to someone I recommend. But your electrolytes and your hydration to me is probably the biggest
Yeah.
thing for a hike like that, especially in the freaking summer. That's so hot
I would be surprised if they even do those in the summer
in
because
the
the
summer.
bottom of the canyon is
Mhm.
much hotter than it is at the top. And I think there's like a 40 or 50-degree differential.
Is it
So
really? I mean,
be
I don't know anything
surprised.
about it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's awesome. I encouraged it. I mean, I think she generally has good fitness, but to me,
Yeah.
it's the nutrition part,
Yeah.
which is important too. But I don't know. You
Yeah.
should do it sometime. Maybe we can do it together
Well, I'm putting it out there, so maybe, yeah, maybe check in with us next year, maybe.
next year.
So,
Tune in.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it's so good to talk to you, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here. What is one last piece of advice you would have physicians that are listening and thinking, "Oh man, I want to do that. I want to get into shape and put exercise and nutrition at front and center in my life."
I think that the biggest advice here is just no excuses. Try to keep that in your mind. No excuse. When you find yourself making one, think, is that really like stopping me from doing what I need to do? There are some things that are real excuses, but it doesn't mean that it's every single day of the week. And so that's I'd say the biggest piece of advice, because there's always time. There's always time somewhere. And I think that would be what I would have to tell them. So
I love that. Thank
mhm.
you.
You're
So,
welcome.
if our listeners and viewers wanted to find you, where could they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, just Michelle Gonzaba. You can direct message me if you have any questions at all.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. So wonderful to talk to you.
Great, thank you, Laura.
Thank you for listening to the Purposeful MD podcast. If you like what you hear, please rate and review the show. Please also visit my website, www.thepurposefulmd.com, for free downloads or to discuss working with me as your coach.